If you'll please rise for the pledge and stay standing for the invocation. Pastor Basio.
Just like church, this is the hardest part of my job. Lord, we thank you for this time. We thank you for your presence and our leadership, along with those who serve. Lord, none of that would matter if there weren't citizens to be here, to care, to live here. So we pray blessing on them, and we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Michael, if you'll take the roll call, please.
All right, Councilman Lloyd. Here. Councilman Schlack.
Present.
Councilman Barr.
Here.
Councilman Marcos.
Here.
Councilman Valerius.
Here.
Councilwoman Nick.
Here.
Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Schlack,
Second.
second by Mr. Marcos. Any corrections or changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 14th?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Nick,
Second.
second by Mr. Valerius. Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. We now have a proclamation for the LGBTQ Pride Month, June 2024. I don't know if members of the Prison Club are here, but if you'd like to come up while I read this, and I believe that we have you speak after I've done with the proclamation, and I will give you the official document. Thank you. Whereas the City of Allen Park supports the rights and dignity of each person and appreciates the importance of equality and freedom. And whereas the nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles which includes that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded the full recognition and protection of law. And whereas the City of Allen Park's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ community are a vital part of all fields and professions and contribute to a stronger community. And whereas 55 years ago, on June 28, 1969, at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, a courageous group of citizens rose up against harassment and mistreatment, setting in motion a chain of events that would become known as the Stonewall Riots and the birth of the modern LGBTQ civil rights movement. And whereas while we as a society at large are slowly embracing new definitions of sexuality and gender, we must also acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital in order to end discrimination and prejudice. Now, therefore, I, Gail B. McLeod, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Allen Park, Michigan, do hereby proclaim June 2024 as Pride Month in the City of Allen Park and encourage our residents to reflect on the ongoing struggle for equality that members of the LGBTQ community face and celebrate the contributions that enhance our city. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Allen Park, Michigan be affixed this 28th day of May, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you for welcoming us, and I will start first. Hello, I am Anna. I'm an exchange student from Republic of Moldova, placed in Allen Park, Michigan. I'm thankful that you decided to welcome our club, Allen Park Prism Club, to deliver this information to you. As someone who attends this club meetings and activities, I will describe what this club means to me and what pride's meaning in my life. To tell you the truth, rarely have I been in an environment where it's possible to discuss LGBTQ rights, events, and people from this community in general. The country I live in is very conservative and relies a lot on Christian Orthodox beliefs and values, which do not believe in LGBTQ people and rights in general. Although that represents 92% of my country, I am very thankful to my mother, who has taught me right and to be open-minded and to understand and accept people. Now, how does this relate to Allen Park? Honestly, a lot. The fact that there is a club like this already means a lot, not to mention the activities they bring forth for the community, the feeling of inclusion and understanding that comes with people there. And the fact that we are welcome here is another point that strikes happiness in me. Show me that it's possible to involve officials from the community in the well-being of others. For me, pride is an opportunity where I can learn and teach others about this. Tell others that they're just normal people. They're not sick, not mentally ill, and definitely not criminals, which my country believes they are. It's also the time to continue showing our support to those who are struggling, and to those to show your love to. Thank you for listening, and to me, and hopefully Allen Park will continue to show its love and support in the future too. Now I'll invite Malcolm to speak his words of wisdom too.
Hi, my name is Malcolm Blair and I use he, him pronouns. To me, pride is a time where you can be your true, authentic self, a time where you shouldn't feel afraid or ashamed to be who you are, and to let us queer people have a voice. I believe that the LGBTQ community should always feel represented and heard, even when it's not June. This is the true way to show love and appreciation for this community. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Roy Sobieski. My pronouns are they, them. To me personally, pride is a celebration and victory to prove love and expression in all its different forms. Pride comes in many ways. Gender identity, sexuality, preference. People may choose to express it or not to if they prefer. And even outside of Pride Month in June, it's still significant and important to those in the LGBTQIA+ community and those who support. Prism Club has really helped me find myself, and I feel like I do have a place to belong. Everyone is welcome in Prism Club. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alexia Carver, and I'm a high schooler senior and a member of the LGBTQ club, PRISM. I'm here to speak about Pride Month and the importance of strength, community, and unity. Pride Month celebrates the strength within each of us to be our true selves, despite challenges. It's a tribute to those who have fought for our rights, inspiring us to continue advocating for equality. Our community is a place of love, acceptance, and support. In our club, we learn the value of standing together and celebrating our differences. This sense of community extends beyond our club, creating vital networks of support. Unity is our collective strength. It allows us to make our voices heard and fight for justice. United, we show that love and acceptance have no boundaries. As we celebrate Pride Month, I urge the Council to support initiatives that promote these values. Together, we can create a more inclusive and compassionate world. Not only that, but acknowledging the Stonewall riots and the oppressed people today, ensuring that change is happening. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Lily, and I am here today to express what the Prism Club means to me. This club has felt like a home to me in a school where not everything is great. I have been in Prism Club for 2 years now, and I've seen how our club has made an important impact on the people who have decided to join. In this club, I am surrounded by amazing people, and I am so glad to have met them. I am grateful to Ms. McMaster and Mrs. Keene, who make our club inclusive, well-organized on our topics, and who make us feel seen and heard. We strive to make students who make us feel, We strive to make students, whether they are a part of the LGBTQ plus community or not, feel like they have a chance to make lifelong connections with amazing people in an amazing community. There are always great ideas that people bring to the table about what to do to make our club and school more inclusive when it comes to the community. I am very excited to see what the future holds for this club and excited to meet new members. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This will be my final year speaking to all of you. I really just want to express the importance of this kind of almost tradition, since I believe it is important for all students of Allen Park, even not just our club, to speak and come to these meetings just to kind of well round their point of view and see what is happening around them. I hope that Allen Park progresses along with the rest of the nation in accepting those who are not part of the majority, and that starts by simply acknowledging the importance of inclusion in our community. Acknowledgement does not mean you have to be at every Pride event ever, but being conscious about the social and mental complexities that will come with being part of the LGBTQ community. At Allen Park, I'm thankful to say that I have not personally experienced any direct problems regarding my identity. Still, I have heard a lot of stories of students being ostracized for being part of the community. The numbers on the pie charts, we did a earlier survey about inclusion, and it didn't necessarily tie itself to the LGBTQ community, but how students felt being part of the Allen Park community in general. And thankfully the majority was pretty positive, and they said that they always felt like they were part of the community. But even though there was still a small minority that we have to pay attention to, since a minority can often represent the underlying themes around anything. And I think it's important to look at it and kind of observe why it's like that. And I believe that inclusion comes in with our theme of this year, unity, strength, and community. First is unity. Unity is the only way you can tackle social issues and advocate for those who cannot speak up for themselves. Next is strength is essential because it requires fortitude to move forward when the world is pushing back, and support of the people who love you enough to stand beside you. Finally, community is a foundation for creating inclusive communities, since if the community chooses exclusion, then it leaves no room for diversity to flourish. I know that Allen Park chooses to be a place of acceptance with your support, and it will be no problem. Well, yeah. And then I would also like to thank everyone who came to this meeting, especially the other members of Prism Club. I would like to take our sponsors and then you guys for inviting us for this proclamation. And overall, thank you.
Anyone else going to come up and speak? Well, thank you for being here. You're a wonderful organization, and SUDS, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've bumped into a couple of students, and I'm very impressed by what you are involved with and some of the things that you're having to deal with. So, bless you all. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. I wasn't able to.
Well, you gotta get lined up. All right, works for me. We color coordinated here?
There you go. Perfect. All right. 3.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Now we get to the administrator's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. Just a few updates. The Reek Road construction, that contractor is now finished with all the concrete work on Reek Road, and they'll be working on restoration. We had the starting date for the bridge project on Reek Road over the Sexton Kilfoyle. That has been pushed back to after July 4th. That'll also remain the same for the bridge project on the Southfield Service Drive at the Ecorse Creek, also starting after July 4th. Pinecrest Drive project started last week with milling. The removal of the curb, of the old curb and the underground work will begin tomorrow. Apologize for this, I'm just reporting the news. Wayne County is repairing storm sewer structures over on Goddard Road between Allen and I-75. That project is expected to last until June 14th. They're down to one lane in each direction. And it just adds to the other roads that we have under construction. Pelham, Southfield, Ecorse, Dix. Keep going. Some great news, the Champaign Park parking lot and walking path are now open are finished now open to the public. The contractor there is just working on the restoration. As part of the American Bloom CN Rail grant for the Historical Museum Landscaping Project, we do have a media event open on Thursday, June 6th at 3 o'clock. I have sent those invites out to everyone. If you let me know if you're going to be there, I'll make sure we have everything in the program for you. And then just a congratulations to the following employer for reaching a milestone of years of service with the city. That's Penny Enchef in the building department. She'll have 10 years on June 9th.
Thank you. I have a motion to accept and file the administrator's report.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Valerius, second by Mr. Barr. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public comments. You come up and speak for 4 minutes. All we want is your name and the street on which you live. You do not need to give us your full address. And the only other thing is that we ask that you keep your comments civil. Now open for public comments.
Hi, what do you want, name and address?
Just your name and the street. I don't want your address.
Deborah Richmond, Outer Drive. I'm actually in Melvindale.
I'm Greg Lockwood on Demeen, and I have 5 lots that border the Ecorse River Creek drain. So the main reason we're here is to see if the city's gonna get involved to try and do something about the clear cutting that the county has planned for the creek. They're doing that from what I've read, and the mayor had sent me a link, which was great. They're doing that because of all the flooding over the last few years from the various cities along the creek. And it appears that what they've decided to do is clear cut. What they've done, they've demolished practically the Council Park in Lincoln Park. They've clear cut all those trees, left the trees piled up. They have X amount of dollars to spend. I think it was a $10 million grant they got. And we're afraid once they run out of money, they'll just leave it like it is. And we think the city needs to get involved. Not only is it for the wildlife that are in the creek and live along the creek, that's one of the concerns. The other is the property values.
This is a comments. We don't do Q&A, so.
Okay. So we'd like someone to get involved from the city. Okay.
Yes, I've emailed quite a few different groups, environmental organizations, government officials. And the Spicer Group is the head of this North Branch Ecorse Creek Drain project. They've sent letters to the homeowners in 2023 stating some trees may be cut down. They keep changing what they're going to do. Finally, last week on the 22nd, I spoke with Josh. I got this all written down. Josh Hoffman from Spicer Group, and he admitted they are clear cutting from Council Point Park, a Native American heritage site commemorating Chief Pontiac's 250th anniversary of a council held there. They're not being forthcoming with what they're doing. The only people that are really aware of it are people who live adjacent to the creek that got letters from the Wayne County Drain Commission. And I think some of the environmental groups could manage, if they have any legal staff, to put a stop to it, or at least get the Spicer Group's contractors to clean up the mess they have made at Council Point Park and anywhere else they clear cut, and do the remediation they claim they're going to do before they move on to the next section. The next section is Allen Park and Melvindale. So it would affect any homeowners living on Allen Park and Melvindale that are on the creek, but anyone that enjoys walking near the creek, doing any kind of recreation, or just looking at the wildlife and the trees as they go by. I think the mayors of Allen Park, Melvindale, Lincoln Park, if they went together as a group, could have a lot more input to stopping this than just myself and a couple of other homeowners, such as Mr. Lockwood, who are trying to do something about this. It's going to be a devastation if all the trees and brush are clear cut all the way down the creek, 16 miles from Council Point to Dearborn Heights. I've done a lot of research on this, and trees that are there now are going to reduce flooding by holding the bank in with their roots. Then they should be doing some deadfall removal, and there are plenty of inroads where they could go in without clear cutting the creek to remove these deadfalls.
I'm sorry, your time's up, but thank you, and I have gotten your emails.
Okay, well, I hope you can do something. Maybe you as the attorney could.
Yes, well, they did an update.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, Ray McGusson-Quant. I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only today. Yesterday was Memorial Day. A lot of us went ahead and we had our little picnics. Some went to beaches. We got together and we reminisced, looked at our lives back, wonder where in the heck time has gone. And I'm only here for one purpose, like I said. I'm going to give you some facts. These are facts, nothing to hide. Just keep your minds open and kind of listen to what I'm going to say. In America, U.S. has been in conflicts for a number of years. We had small little wars, but a lot of us remember certain ones. Those key ones are the only ones that stay in our heads, that we remember of where we lost. But remember one thing. Yesterday was a day where we remember how many we lost. I think we should also remember the wounded, the ones who are still fighting to this day. So here's a couple facts. American Revolutionary War, total deaths, 70,000. How many wounded? 8,500. Here's the War of 1812. 15,000 deaths, 4,500 wounded. The Mexican War, 13,283, 4,152 wounded. American Civil War, this includes everybody, not only the North and not only the South. This is staggering. 655,000. Keep that in your minds, people. That was a war within us, the United States of America, on our land. And what were we fighting for? That one shocked me. Here's the Spanish-American War, 2,446, 1,622 wounded. World War I, 116,516 deaths. This is only the U.S. I'm bringing up. This is not other countries. How many wounded? 2,004. 204,000. World War II, 405,399 deaths. 670,000 wounded. The Korean War, some of those gentlemen and women are still alive. 36,574. 103. 284,000 wounded. The Vietnam War, that was my era. I lost a lot of my friends. 58,220 wounded. 153,000. The Gulf War, 294 deaths, 849 wounded. The war in Afghanistan that went on for 20 years, the longest battle, the longest war the U.S. was ever in. It was 20 years long. We lost 325,000, 20,093 wounded. The Iraq War, we lost 4,492 wounded, 32,222. Here's the staggering thing. I want you to all think about this one. We are here because of the people that gave our lives. On June the 6th, 1944, that's coming up, was D-Day. U.S. sent our soldiers to the beaches, and not to swim. They sent them to go ahead and take care of, knock out the Germans so we can take over and get back into Europe. 29,000 U.S. soldiers died on D-Day alone. Now here's the staggering one. Deaths. 1,354,664. Wounded. 1,498,240. The numbers I gave you are U.S. servicemen and women only. These are not combined. So when you think about something, we live in the best country in the world, and no one can ever tell me we don't. Think about what we do every day. And think about that we don't think sometimes that when we hit those beaches for fun and games, 29,000 of them lost when they hit the beaches of Normandy. With that, I'm going to leave this think about what I have to say. I want to thank you very much for the time. I know I took some extra time. I want you to think about it. There's one thing. We do live in the best country ever. And I wear my American flag. And the day I wear it on my back, you have a great day.
Good evening, Mary Jane Kittle, Hand 4. I'm here to address the violations of the city clerk, which yourselves, the entire city employees in the complex and beyond know about, even though the city clerk has threatened me if I do so. I am on the side of the law, the city charter, and not the wrongdoing. I understand the 5 of us personally are able to file ethics complaints with the city on the city clerk, but my concern tonight is that the city has on its behalf and in the rights of its residents, are you continually going to take a non-commitment action by you all, the city mayor, the council, the city attorney, the city administrator, and the council? The city clerk has done the following, which warrants the city itself involvement by issuing ethics complaints itself on the city clerk. 1, he used the property of the city, phone either issued or stipend by the city, to send out the threatening false accusation emails of 5 people, 1 councilman, 1 mayor pro tem, and 3 Allen Park citizens. 2, took personal information from a FOIA request when the only item allowed to be taken from the use of a requester is their name. 3, action in his malicious manner using his title as City of Allen Park clerk, therefore representing the City of Allen Park in all their correspondence. 4, stating as City Clerk of Allen Park, he represents the residents of the City of Allen Park and what he says is in these correspondence, leading the city as the only attacking and violation us all. Again, I would like to know when you will all be taking action on this matter. We must, as I always say when I come up here, follow the city charter. Now we need to add the state and country too. Thank you.
Can anyone tell me, can I be heard?
Excuse
This
me,
is
can
awful.
I-
My
please-
name is Jamie Curry.
And the street,
I live
please?
on Jonas Avenue.
Thank you.
Is this microphone working?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Your Honor. It's always a pleasure to see you. I would like to thank the members of council that I have spoken to in the past week. Mr. Villaris, I really appreciate the conversation we had. More importantly, I really appreciate the time you took to put a tutorial together. Very informative, very helpful to the citizens of Allen Park. I can't thank you enough. Mr. Marcos, what a delightful man. We are so blessed and so honored to have you serve the city. Really, really was very great speaking with you. I would also like to thank this man here for coming in here and talking about what really matters. And what he talked about is what really matters. I'd also like to touch base on the people that I spoke to, the council people that I spoke to, with the exception of one. I wish to remind all of us, we are in a weak mayor, strong council government. I highly encourage you people to step up and take the bull by the horns. I have come in here, this is my 3rd time this year, the retaliation that I've experienced is obscene. You all are aware of it, and nothing is done.
I, at this point, would like to turn these in to all of you. Is that allowed?
Give material to the clerk, please.
I do not want that gentleman coming anywhere near
I'll
me.
take it, Jamie.
These are a copy of the email that I know you all got. They are also, one is a photo of a high-level employee of the city with two retirees out at the casino titled FAP. I find that highly offensive. When I came in here the 2 times ago, I was told by this same person, FAP, I'm tired of AP. We deserve better than this. I've been here 65 years. I love this city. This is the greatest city in the world. Because I come in here and voice concerns is not because I want to complain. I have never come in here till this year. I have never been so concerned about the state of our government as I am now. Don't dismiss me as an angry old man. That is not what's standing in front of you. I love this city. I have lived in this city longer than any one of you on this dais, with the exception of you. Take that back. I'm not sure what you guys are going to do about people that come in and express concerns and then they're retaliated against. I have started receiving phone calls in the middle of the night. One of the recipients of the email has had their front door damaged. This is out of control. Just want to make sure I got everything in. And I did. Always a pleasure, Mayor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kyle Carr, Champaign. We're going to go back in a moment in time here. Back in 2012, my time at the community center began. I was hired by Temple Entertainment, who the city was put in financial management, hired to run the community center. Shortly thereafter, I became a city employee in 2014 in the midst of my college career and wanting to choose the path I wanted to take with my sports management degree. Shortly after, I graduated Eastern Michigan with my sport management degree in 2017. The deputy director position at Parks and Recreation opened. I interviewed for it. I did not receive it. I finished second to the current director, Rob Fulton. However, the HR committee at the time was Mark Kibby, Gail McLeod, Harry Sisko, and Larry Templin, and they saw something in me that they did not want to lose and reopened a position at the community center in Parks and Recreation, and I was hired in full-time in May of 2018 as the facilities coordinator and operations manager. I mean, come on. From this point forward, with them believing in me, I knew that this is the path I wanted to take, turning down careers at the University of Michigan and also other places that wanted me. Because, I mean, come on. Who would not want to work for city government where 30,000 people watch your every move and make to tell you how you can do your job better than you can? However, one person in my career, which I love, and I plan on being here for the next 30 years, who has shown me nothing more than passion for a job, is Mark Kibby, and he does not even live here. This man puts his heart and soul into his work every day, and it is unfortunate in the circumstances that we will be losing Mark shortly as he embraces on his next journey. And it's all because of nothing. Nothing more than Mark putting the interest of the residents and his staff that we all took the oath of office for. I mean, come on, look at where we are now, when we were in 2015 when Mark became the city administrator here. Mark and his team of employees, who he has assembled, has accomplished more in the last 9 years than I can recall ever being a student at Cabrini High School and now as an employee. We have a new DPS facility that was built 3 years ago. We have a new permanent city hall we sit in today. The renovations at the Dollar Show property and the public gathering space has began to pave the way. And through Mark and Finance Director Amanda Wirtz's help, they were able to allocate ARPA funds to get the arena bleachers replaced to complete a $500,000 project that we started and finished in 1 calendar year. One of the largest ever is the funding for the Champaign Park parking lot that has been an eyesore for 60 years, and nobody was able to get it done, except for this administrative team led by Mark and the staff that worked so hard to get it done. The last one is the Historical Museum, in which Mark himself wrote grants and received 4 of them to push $500,000 across the table to get the house back in the shape that it looks today. Mark is one of a kind. He is a mentor and a leader who I looked up to as a 20-year-old part-timer for the city, and now the 30-year-old Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation that I stand today. We as a team, who, if you look over my shoulder, are all here to support Mark, wearing the maize and blue. We as a team will stick together and accomplish the goals and missions on which Mark set us on, because there is work to be done and projects to complete. Mark, you are irreplaceable, and nobody can do what you have done, not even close. It's gonna cost the city a lot more for a person who can only do half of what the job of you have done here, because there is no one better. This city will realize what we are losing when you are gone. And as a resident, as a coworker, and the team I stand behind me, I thank you forever. Mayor and Council, thank you for your time.
Evening, Council and Mayor. Ed Wurzbacher, Meyer Avenue. I'm here tonight to say a thank you as a resident to Mark. I moved to the community in 2021, and before I did that, Mayor McLeod can attest, and so can Chief Egan. I met them at a community meeting in March of 21, and I had discussed that before I moved here, I did the background on the city. I pulled the FBI statistics, any information I could find about Allen Park, okay? All the demographics, everything possible. Who at 65 buys a home unless it's not northern property or Florida in Allen Park, okay? But I chose this as my forever home. I looked at the financials within the city. Anybody in the free-speaking world knew about the movie theater fiasco, okay? And a couple things that I found. This is all my own homework. Mark began his career with the city in 2015. Since 2015, Mark has raised the city's Standard & Poor's rating 15 notches in just over 4 cycle ratings, okay? From a C rating to an A+. What's that mean to us? That's the difference between having a 300 credit score and an 850, where we're sitting at today. Each of his 9 budgets, Mark has been able to contribute $500,000 to the City of Allen Park Employee Health Care Trust. It was at 0% in 2015. It's 13% funded today. So the city employees can thank Mark. He also assisted in paying off A and B bonds that were issued in 2009 for the Southfield lease properties for the amount of $9,070,000, which, by paying off that, avoided the city in having to pay over $8,289,000 in interest payments through the year 2039. As I did my research on Mr. Kibby, the more I looked, the more quite frankly, I got overwhelmed with the successes. I just don't understand which direction this community wants to go. I cut my teeth in business, and you know what? I am confused. Mark, thank you for everything you've done. Kyle Carr alluded to it. We see this facility. We see the DPS. We see the road improvements. I see improvements as I'm walking around the community. Your footprint is going to be here for many, many years. The ones that wanted to disrupt it, well, I got news for you. Their footprint does not look too darn good.
This thing is daunting. Pam Smith, Philomene. As a manager, prior to retirement, as employees, we all feel we are irreplaceable. Every single one of us, we do our job the best of anybody else. We think that way every stinking day. But Mr. Kibby, for you, it's the truth. We will have a huge void. We will be paying out a lot of money. This man was hired in under salary and stayed here for years under salary. And the council did their absolute best to bring him up to speed. And I still didn't feel he was where he needed to be salary-wise. The vetting that's going to be having to take place, however long that's going to take, and the hole that is left in that position is going to cost us. Once the vetting has taken place, what in the heck are we going to have to pay this person? As a resident of this community and this city, Mr. Kibby, I personally want to congratulate you on your promotion and likely on your astounding raise and what you're going to make in your new position. Mr. Smith and I support this community, and we support the city council as well as the departments. So much so that I've accepted a part-time job here. And I look forward to that, very much so, because my voice isn't always carried the way I want it to be, so I want to be involved much more than I have been. To that, I want to say, as a manager, I want everyone to continue to understand you are here for us residents. You are here to be our voices and to make the correct decisions. Don't throw sand in the sandbox. Don't do it. Stay in your lane. That is my thought as a manager. This man will be horrendously missed. The person that comes in, sure, more money, sure, you vetted them. How long is it going to take them to get up to speed so that the community is receiving the grants and all the hard work that that man did? With that, Mark, Wayne and I support you. Tell us where you're at. We're going to do lunch. We will be cooking for you and your team. And that's all I have to say.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tina Rigetti, Leslie. Mayor, if I may address the City Administrator. Mark, I'm going to say a few things that have already been said, but I'm going to say them anyway. You, along with the department heads and our city employees, have managed the following during your time here in Allen Park. Again, a new city hall, a new police station, a new DPS facility. You passed the road millage. We've paved Champaign parking lot. You've obtained numerous grants, and several of those were for the historical house. You've improved our bond status ratings, and there's much more. But most importantly, I was here when you navigated us through and out of state control and out from under an emergency manager. And for that, I'll never forget. Your knowledge in city government is unmeasurable. I've seen that numerous times while serving on city council, and I've attended numerous block grant meetings with you when I watch other communities come to you for advice and your experience. So with that, you're a great administrator. I'm glad you chose Allen Park when you did. We needed you then. We still need you, but things change. I wish you all the best in your new position. In closing, I want to ask every single one of you up here, sitting up here, if you have a personal agenda, stop it now. The city doesn't need people up here with personal agendas. That's not what you took your oath of office for. Please stop it and do the right thing for the citizens of Allen Park. And that means us, not you. Thank you.
Amanda Wirtz Fox. I first started as a contractor in Allen Park in 2011. At that time, the city was in turmoil, the economy was in shambles, and the city had made some very detrimental decisions. At that time, you could not have paid me enough money to work here. It was dark, dreary, negative, and stayed that way for several years. As a contractor, you do a lot of moving around between clients. In 2015, I was back at the city on a regular basis, and everything was different. There was laughter, smiling, and an overall different atmosphere in most of the departments. The leadership had changed thanks to Mark Kibby and Bob Cady. In 2021, the then Historical Commission Chair sent an email to the department liaison on needs for the historical house. The list was 24 items long, 18 of them, approximately, being for some form of structural repair, and many of the items on the list were large expenses. To date, nearly all of the list has been taken care of, thanks to Mark Kibby and his ability to secure CDBG funding and additional funds from the American in Bloom. Mark, thank you. Mark was and is darn good at his job. He's made progress in every corner of this city and has worked hard to get every department what they need to get their jobs done. The departments have working vehicles, working HVAC, and I think for the first time, I don't think we have any perpetually leaking roofs. Mark will tell you a story about how he once publicly mentioned that he was sad to see his mentor, Bob Cady, leave. Bob was mad. He said it made him feel old. Well, Mark, I'm sad to see you go as a citizen, but mostly I'm sad to see my mentor leave. Thank you for your dedication to making Allen Park a beautiful community, regardless of your zip code. You'll be greatly missed.
I was gonna sing Blue Skies, but spare you. I'm Deb Zettel, Executive Assistant in the City of Allen Park. I came to work for the City of Allen Park at the end of emergency management, at the beginning of the Receivership Transition Advisory Board, otherwise known as the RTAB. I have been here for close to 10 years. I had the privilege, or not, of working in the original building that used to be the church, then working from the old Stotzenberg Institute site to our current location now. Thank you, Mark. I've seen a lot of transition, I've seen a lot of change. I have learned a lot about municipal government working for the city, and there are several differences compared to working for major companies. But the one thing that remains the same no matter where you work is that there will always be either bad leadership, acceptable leadership, or great leadership. I can tell you that when Mark Kibby came on board, he was like a whirlwind of activity with the sole purpose of making the city a success, to make a difference. compared to how it was in the past. Mark's focus and dedication accomplished so many success stories that it is astonishing to see the difference of where the city is today compared to where it was around 15 years ago. Because of Mark, a strong core team was built here in the city where we excel in our specific areas. And even though, as with any big family, we may not always agree on matters, we always did what was right for the city and its residents. We always maintain a mutual respect for one another. Mark has done a great job. He is great to work for, and I've learned so much from him. The city is losing a great advocate and a champion, and the loss is deeply affecting the staff. Although we all continue to do our best in our jobs because we are professionals that we are, morale is very low due to losing the captain of the ship. The current situation is precarious, and I hope we do not lose more people as we move through this leadership transition. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Good evening. My name is Darlene. I work in accounts payable, and I have worked with Mark over 10 years. They have to hear me. I just felt that I needed to say something on behalf of Mark. All of the previous speakers have told of the great assets he has brought to this city, and I have seen it firsthand. When I first came here, there was really no role leadership, and we were in dark days. But I have seen how he has put his heart and soul in this city in so many different ways, staying late, just being a support in everything that was brought to his attention. I personally have gone through a lot of tragedy since I started here. I lost my husband, I lost my dad and my son. And the support I got from this man was unbelievable, and I will always be grateful for how he stood and helped me and said, do what you gotta do. Mark is truly going to be a missed value in this city. I don't think people realize what the shoes are gonna be stepping in when they take into Mark's position, because he is truly someone who cares about the city. COVID, he was here, late nights. I mean, it's just all the time that Mark is here. And I could say more and more and more about him, but I'm fumbling over my words right now because I am so sad. I am so sad that we're losing such a great leader for this city. And I've seen it firsthand in everything that he has done and where his heart is, and it's for this city. Thank you.
Tanya Whited, Cortland. I bought a house here in Allen Park. I'm a transplant from Missouri, as some of you know. And I bought a house because of the stability of the city and the transition, much like Ed had mentioned, and many others, seeing that trajectory and knowing that it was going to continue. That's one of the main reasons, being close to family, but knowing that I would keep my property value or have it increased is very important to me, hopefully to most of the homeowners here. I didn't practice a speech or anything, so sorry. But I have to say thank you, Mark. I hope that this continues, and I'm hopeful that we will try to move forward. I believe that we have a good team. Thank you. But, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I'm also hopeful that we have communications with council in a manner that we can be as transparent as you need and answer those questions before it becomes assumptions. I'm hopeful that that's something that we can build on. I know that there's going to be some changes, and it's going to be big shoes to fill. But primarily, just want to speak on what I know has happened. And I'm questioning now how that will continue, but I'm very hopeful. I will try to continue to help with morale. I don't know that that's been very effective. So maybe that's something we can discuss moving forward, is how to make that happen. Because I know I can advise as well that there are many of the department heads and staff have voiced concerns. So anyway, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Mark.
I would like to know.
Sir, you cannot come up again, I'm sorry.
Are you sure of that?
I'm
Do you
sorry,
know
you
the
cannot come
charter?
up again.
Do you know the charter?
Public comments is 4 minutes, sir, you've had your 4 minutes.
I beg your pardon? What did you say?
Sir, what she said was, so.
She's the mayor of Allen Park and she cannot speak for herself? Is that what you're indicating to me? You are the
No,
mayor of
sir,
Allen Park.
sir, please, please. The rule is you get 4 minutes, and everyone gets 4 minutes. And if you would rather have her to speak, she can certainly speak for herself. And if I interrupted you inappropriately, Mayor, I apologize.
Thank you.
But we try to treat everyone the same. Everyone gets 4
That's
minutes.
the question. I'm asking you the question. I don't
Thank
know
you.
the answer.
4 minutes.
But Mr. Kibby resigned on his own and had been looking for a job
Mr.
for
Mr.
over a
Curry,
year.
you are out of order. You are out of
Always out of
order.
order. Pardon me?
Please take a seat.
Dave Boomer, Winona. Good evening, all. I was here when Mark came in, so I thought it'd be appropriate that I guess I better come when he's on his way out. I still remember the phone call persuading him to come to the city of Allen Park when we had $0. Mr. Katie and myself conjured up a great plan that maybe he was going to be a building inspector part-time and an administrator part-time, just so we could get Mark to come on board. As you can tell by the comments of the people before me, what an outstanding person he is. I don't want to speak for those people. I want to speak for the other residents of Allen Park that have no idea that the job that Mark has done, where we're at today, although I haven't been around the last 3 years since my retirement, we were in a dark place with no money, no leadership, no rudder. Mark's changed that. We've had a lot of administrators come and go. I don't think you've ever seen people come to the council meeting and speak like they're speaking on Mark's behalf today. So, Mark, I want to thank you for all the residents that aren't here, for the job that you did for the residents of Allen Park. We will be forever grateful, and good luck. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Zotter, Roger Avenue. I'm a resident of Allen Park for 25 years and a City of Allen Park part-time employee for over 2 years. I'm very grateful to work with such a dedicated team of employees throughout the city. As I get lots of different questions each day, I appreciate the support that helps me to answer those questions to the residents and the business owners. I want to thank Mr. Mark Kibby for all the good work that he has done to help the Allen Park community. He's always been available to answer questions. He makes sure that we all get the updated information that we need. It is rewarding to see how this information helps people. Thank you again for all that you do. And thank you all. Have a good evening.
If there are no others coming forward, we will close public comments and move on to the consent agenda, which is very short this evening. Purchasing actions of claims and accounts in the payroll report. Motion, please. Motion by Mr. Lloyd. Second by Mr. Barr. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Has been approved. Resolution. Resolution 1 is to approve a change order in the amount of $58,434 towards the removal of underground fuel storage tanks to R.W. Mercer. This work will be charged $29,217 to Budget Fund 401-000-985-003 and $29,217 to Budget Fund 592-545-986-000. Motion.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marcos. Comments or questions?
I'll just give a brief update as what the project is. This is the removal of the underground storage tank, the gas tank that is at the, behind the fire station. With the new facility being operational at the new DPS facility, this is no longer needed. If you recall, back in December, I mentioned that this would have to happen because our insurance rates are also going up, so timing is good. This will come off now. Be able to remove this, and that should be no issues over there. We've had no leaks or anything like that, so it should be good.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 2 is to waive the city bid process as there is no economic benefit since Zamboni Company USA uses the Sourcewell pricing model, giving pre-negotiated pricing to municipalities, and approve the purchase of a new Zamboni ice resurfacer for the Frank Leda Ice Arena at the Community Center in the amount of $104,685.90. Motion.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Valerius.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lloyd. Somebody going to brief us on this? Kyle?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, once again. Before you tonight, we are looking for purchasing the new Zamboni. This will be replacing the 20-year-old Zamboni that was purchased when the arena was renovated back in 2004. Zamboni is going to buy back that machine for $5,500, so that's notched off the price a little bit, as well as the government discount. This will be, if approved tonight, we believe we can receive delivery in February or March is what we were told. And then we will maintain the 10-year-old Zamboni as a backup once we receive the new one to carry forward 2 machines.
I mean, through the chair, this purchase is actually part of the 24-25 budget that was just approved at the last council meeting.
Any questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 3 is to approve authorization to award the landscaping and concrete work for the America in Bloom and Canadian National Rail Echo Connections from the Ground Up grant for the Allen Park Historical Museum to Dan Kays Incorporated with John's Landscaping and Savone Cement in the amount of $72,604 with a 15% contingency of $10,890.60. Funds above the $25,000 grant reimbursement will come from account 101-172-955-803. Motion.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valerius. Comments or questions?
This is for the concrete work. I just go back through the concrete work and the landscaping at the Historical Museum through the American in Bloom CN Rail Grant. The landscape work is roughly $29,326. Concrete work is $43,278.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 4, to approve the Festivities Commission request to close down Allen Road from Southfield to Roosevelt at 7 a.m. on Thursday, August 1st for setup, and until 10 a.m. on Sunday, August 4th for cleanup, for the 42nd Annual Allen Park Arts and Crafts Street Fair to be held on August 2nd and 3rd, with the recommendations from the city administrator and pending final approval from the police chief. Motion. Motion by Mr. Barr.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Schlack. Comments or questions?
I mean, through the chair. So the road closure will be from 7 until, lasting until 10 a.m. on the, from 7 a.m. on Thursday, August 1st through 10 a.m. Sunday, August 4th. The other additional requirements are to secure and coordinate the services of the Allen Park Police Department through the police chief for time periods that will have a high visitor count, and 2, alcohol is only consumed in designated areas as determined by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission with concurrence from the police chief.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 5, to allow the Allen Park Fire Department to apply for a state grant for the purchase of interior firefighting backup gear. This grant would not require a financial match from the city. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Barr.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valerius. Someone elaborate on this? Mr. Taylor.
Okay, so yeah, this is basically a zero match. This is gonna be brand new gear that they're gonna be able to just put as their backup gear. Gear can last 10 years. So realistically, I believe we have got gear 3 years ago. So I mean, this is zero match from the state. I can't remember the exact number, how much they are giving out to all this fire departments in Michigan, but we got it. And, I apologize, we'll be
We'll be getting it.
We'll be getting it, and then, so yes, so it'll be great for them.
And it's important to have this backup gear
Absolutely,
because
so it's
of
brand new,
drying
yes. I
out
mean, there were some
periods.
back when I started, yeah, you got someone's hand-me-down from 20 years ago where they were waiting to get new gear, so, yep.
And Deputy Chief, this is different from what we received from the Firehouse Grant, which was
Firehouse grant,
different
yes,
type of
that is this
turnout.
totally different gear, that's called Tech Rescue, where you would wear, at car fires, it's thinner, but this is going to be for house fires. I mean, so they're gonna have a brand new set of gear just sitting there, ready for backup gear.
Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, resolution is approved. Resolution 6 is to approve the request from Intercity Baptist Church for their annual fireworks display on June 23rd at 9:15 p.m., pending final approval of the fire department. Motion.
Motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Nick, and it was seconded by Mr. Schlack. I think this is a request that's come to us on an annual basis. Mike, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's their annual request. It's really, it's not too big of a deal as long as the fire department approves it. And from what I understand, they did. I just haven't got the approval letter yet, so. That's why I do include in there pending final approval from the fire chief, so.
Anyone have any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, resolution is approved. We have a resolution 7 to approve authorization to award the renovation of Cunningham Park to Savone Cement in the amount of $78,624. The funds for this project will come from the American Rescue Plan Act, account 401-000-985-450. Motion.
Motion. Second, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Schlack, second by Mr. Lloyd.
This request is a little bit different from our normal park recreation overhaul or renovation we've done. Typically, we've been replacing old, outdated equipment, some probably from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and with new equipment. In the case here, this equipment was replaced back in the 90s to the dismay of, I was already older by that time, but to my dismay, they took away the rocket ship went. We talk about Barney over at the park down there, the rocket ship. Yeah. Right, so This equipment is still in relatively good condition. It does need to be sandblasted and repainted, give it a fresh look. The same with the pavilion is in good shape, with the exception of the concrete work around it. So what would have happened is Savone would go in, sandblast all that old paint off, prep it for new paint, put in a new concrete pad underneath the existing pavilion, plus a little bit so you don't have the drip edge right now. Right now it drips, it creates a mud pit around because there's not enough concrete goes around it. Put a new sidewalk in, about 140 feet sidewalk from the roadway parking lot area to the pavilion, and also touch into the play structure area, and then new mulch for the play structure area itself. That is a very big area over there. I think this one was in the range of 700 yards, I believe it was. It's, for whatever reason, years ago, the park equipment was put into a concrete ring. We still have that at this park, which we use. We do not use that at the Champaign Park. They abandoned that and went into a whole new section with the border around it and play mulch material. So this would just give a complete overhaul to that park, and we use ARPA funds if it's approved.
Is there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, resolution is approved. Now we move on to other business. The first of which is to approve the first and second reading of proposed ordinance number 01-224. Motion.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valerius.
All right, Mayor and Council, before you is a first and second reading of proposed ordinance by title only, number 1-2024, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 52 zoning ordinance, Article 3, District Regulations by the repeal and readoption of Section 52-610, permitted uses within a general business district. Mayor, we have a motion and a support.
And that was the first reading. Are you going to do the second?
I'll do the second one immediately. Second reading by title only, proposed ordinance 01-2024, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 52 zoning ordinances, Article 3, District Regulations by the repeal and readoption of Section 52-610, permitted uses within a general business district. Can I get a vote, Mayor? No roll call, simple majority.
Yes. Does anybody have a question? No, we had a motion and a second. Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? He doesn't have to read it again, right?
Nope, but I will publish the proposed ordinance in a manner prescribed by law.
Thank you. The second other business is the reading, first and second reading of proposed ordinance 2-2024. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Marcos.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lloyd. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have the first and second reading.
All right, Mayor and Council, in front of you is by title only, a proposed ordinance number 2-2024, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park Code of Ordinances amending Chapter 52 zoning ordinances, Article 3, District Regulations by the repeal and readoption of Section 52-442, signage within the district, which that is the Fairlane Green District up on. And I will read it again. So we had the first, the second is, and again, proposed ordinance number 2-2024, an ordinance of the City of Allen Park of Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 52 zoning ordinances, Article 3, District Regulations by the repeal and readoption of Section 52-442, signage within the district, Fairlane Green District. Thank you. And this one will also be published in a manner prescribed by law.
Thank you. And now we come to elected officials' comments, and this evening, Mr. Lloyd will lead us off.
First off, I'm going to apologize to our graduating seniors. I think that they have a final exam in Mr. Berkey's class tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Oh, it is tomorrow morning. All right. They're trying to eke out a little extra credit before they get there. All right. And I don't know if they necessarily knew what they bargained for. But I can't really imagine. I can't really imagine a better final lesson in local government than what you saw here today. Was it a little tedious for you? Perhaps it was. But I think it's worth remembering. And I will subject you to a little bit more tedium. I think that, knock on wood, the biggest regret that I will leave as an elected official is not doing more to prevent Mark Kibby from leaving and starting city administrator. I told him as much this last week, and I'm deeply remorseful that I did not do more. Because as everybody here listened to, it is very, very difficult. It is nearly impossible to argue with the facts that have been laid out. Many of our employees have gave emotional testimony as to the leadership that Mark has given. Mr. Wurzbacher, I'm very appreciative, has given some very cold facts and figures of the accomplishment that Mark has made. And quote, somebody said this to me recently, that this is the best that this city has been run in the last 30 years. And that is not disputable. And a quick final lesson to our graduating seniors on how it is that your city governments are run. It's a misconception. It's a misconception that we as council and mayor run the day-to-day operations of the city. I do not have the time, the talent, or the expertise to do so. As many of the students here know, I spend most of my days teaching history and English and coaching wrestling. Those are the ways that I make my money. I depend on our city administrator, Mark Kibby, and the people that are seated in the back part of this room to run the day-to-day operations of the city, and they have done an incredibly admirable job since I've been up here, to the point where they have done a very good job of making us look very, very good. And if you are concerned as citizens, then I share your concern, because we are going to undergo a tumultuous time as a city. This is no doubt. As you heard people attest, it does not matter what your personal opinion is of Mark Kibby. Mark has served as the leader of this city for the past 9 years, and now we are going to do without him. And we are going to have to find a replacement to be able to settle this very difficult time. And I believe somebody, maybe it was Mr. Wurzbacher, mentioned that we are going to definitely pay, or maybe it was Mr. Carr. We are going to have to pay a great deal of money to do so, and it is very questionable whether that person is going to be able to fill into the shoes that Mr. Kibby has left. I want to address our staff here because I understand, as Tanya noted, I understand the unease, and I feel it. I've talked to many of you. I've had those conversations with you, and I understand that. I want you to know that I support you, and I know that the reason that this is a great city, and I chose to come back here and raise my family. I have a small child that I hope will one day choose to do the same. I know that that is because of you. I know that that is because of you. And speaking to our council, I cannot emphasize how important it is for us to fall behind this staff that has put blood, sweat, and tears into this city to make it the great place that it is. Because they're scared right now. Anybody with eyes or ears can see that. And we are losing the person that has led them to be able to make this a great place. We are losing another person who I don't want to put them on the spot, that has equally made this an amazing place to live. We can't afford to lose anybody else. We simply cannot. And I know that Mark would say that himself. I spoke with a city manager outside of the city who does not want the job, and so I can trust him. And the thing that he told me, and I think that the people here will agree with this, the number one best thing that Mark did, the best thing that he did is that he assembled an amazing team, and he gave them a voice on how it is that we run this city. So we're losing Mark. We can't lose anybody else. So we have to come together as elected officials, and we got to do what's best for the people that's in this audience, and we have to make sure that we keep this city on the current course that we're in, because if we do not, the consequences could be dire. So I'm pleading everybody that we have to support these people, because this is their livelihood.
Thank you.
This is their job. This is our city, but at the end of the day, I lost that election. If you guys didn't know, had a rough night. I went to work Monday. Everything was fine. These people come in to this building or the buildings around here, and they dedicate so much to make this a great place. We absolutely have to support them. Thank you.
Ms. Nick?
Okay, yesterday we had the Memorial Day ceremony, so I just want to thank the police honor guards that came out, the Veterans of Foreign War, the American Legion, but most of all, Melanie Walker. She was the young girl who played the trumpet that day. I know she was having a hard time because the wind was so bad and it was coming right at her, so thank you, Melanie, for that. The Historical Museum wanted me to mention that they are having a flea market at the community center on the 22nd and 23rd of June. And you can get spaces. They're $25 each. They're 10 by 10. You get a table and 2 chairs to go along with that. And I wanted to thank Steve Donahue. Most of you know him as the balloon guy. He put together for the DDA, and there will be several of them out there. I'll put them on the cabinet. But if you open it up, you can just put it in your wallet, and it has all the events that the DDA is putting on for the summer, so you can have it right there in your wallet. I thought that was a pretty smart thing to do. And then many of you, there's a birthday today, and many of you know her as the Great Lakes Ace Lady. She's right next door to us. Some of you maybe had her in preschool, Miss Linda. So today's her birthday, so I just wanted to give a shout out to her for her birthday, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Valerius?
I'm usually pretty short-winded. Today I'm going to be a little longer. Couple things. First, I want to extend my condolences to Chief Egan on the passing of his father. Also, I had an aunt of mine pass away on Wednesday, funeral tomorrow. Ray, I want to thank you for your words. Hit me equally hard with the numbers. I spent my Memorial Day out at the Great Lakes National Cemetery, placing memorials at the grave sites of the fallen people who we owe everything that we have today to. And I got rained on, but I still just continued to do what I was asked to do and pay my respects in that manner. I mentioned something to some people, and I don't know whether I rubbed people the wrong way, but I made a post about that. We should get out of the habit of saying Happy Memorial Day, because it's not really a happy day. It's a memorial to those that have died for our freedoms. It's not a happy Memorial Day. So the hope is that that could change. And maybe the greeting should be have a thoughtful Memorial Day, or just leave it as a Memorial Day. It's definitely not a happy day. If that's the case, we'd be wishing people on the day of their deaths of relatives a happy day, which isn't the case. When I ran for and was elected to City Council in 2019, I made a pledge to myself and to supporters and non-supporters that I would always put the citizens of Allen Park first. It's my understanding that as a city council member, that is what is expected of all who are blessed to serve in this position. I have never viewed, nor will I ever view, this position as one of power, as a personal platform, or to promote any agenda. I serve the citizens of Allen Park, and I try my very best to make educated decisions that will benefit those people that I represent. I try my best to educate myself, to research the issues that come before us, and to base things on facts and data, not unproven accusations, personal attacks, vendettas, or hearsay. I've worked since I was 15 years old, and I've worked under a lot of supervisors, administrators, and bosses. Did I like them all? No. But what I did do is I looked at each of those bosses, supervisors, and administrators with the overall sum of all facets that those people serve in their roles. And the one thing that I really concentrated on was how well that individual did their job and how their role benefited the majority, not the minority. Again, basing it on facts and data. Ed stole a lot of my thunder because I had a lot of things that he mentioned regarding some successes from Mr. Kibby in his role as our city administrator, so I'm not going to rehash those items. But I will add something to that list, because it's an extremely long list of his achievements in what he did for our city. But it goes beyond that, because Mr. Kibby also served as city administrator in numerous cities before Allen Park, having success in every one of those cities. One of his fortes was being the CDBG grant or program administrator in Melvindale, Riverview, Gibraltar, and Woodhaven, where he applied and received over $6.34 million for those cities. Okay, that doesn't include the millions that he brought in to the city of Allen Park through his grant writing and everything that he did as city administrator. Again, the list is long. The accolades that we can attest to by the people that came up here and talked about their feelings towards Mark just lends credence to all those things that are, part of his resume and forte. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about what my fellow council member Dan Lloyd mentioned. Again, all these achievements have been made while he led a great team of department heads, an amazing and dedicated team of city employees. Doesn't matter if you like Mark Kibby or not. Doesn't. Your personal feelings do not represent the 28,000 plus citizens of Allen Park. In fact, as an English teacher for over 21 years, personal pronouns should not be used by elected officials because we serve the citizens, not ourselves. You should not be using personal pronouns like I or me or my. That doesn't matter when you're serving on city council. The bottom line is Mark Kibby did his job as city administrator and did it damn well. His reputation as an effective and outstanding city administrator is well known throughout southeastern Michigan and the state. As many have mentioned, he led us out of some of our darkest days and put us on solid financial ground. And remember, he did all this while being one of the lowest paid city administrators in southeast Michigan. He did it because he loves Allen Park, even though he's not a resident. He did it because he cares about the citizens of the city. As mentioned prior, his resignation and the hiring of a new city administrator with the experience and credential to match what Mr. Kibby brought to the table is going to cost this city a lot of money. So to those who are happy to see him leave, you are the minority. You have hurt the city you claim to care so much about. Celebrate amongst yourselves because your actions were not for the betterment of the city and the citizens of Allen Park. Your actions were self-centered and only benefited who you consider to be most important, you. I wish Mr. Kibby all the best in his new endeavor, and I know that the work you're going to do will be beneficial to the citizens you work for, as they were during your time here in Allen Park. In closing, again, I want to address the same individuals Dan addressed, our city team. I want to ensure that team that's worked so well with Mr. Kibby for the betterment of Allen Park and all of its citizens, all the department heads, directors, full-time and part-time employees, that I support you today and will continue to support you for the remainder of my term on City Council. As elected officials placed in this position by citizens of Allen Park who trust in us to work for them and not ourselves, the same citizens who should believe that we have their best interest at the forefront of all that we do. We have to put aside petty politics, political games, and personal agendas that lead to the mistrust of public officials and politicians by those who place them in office. As elected officials, we need to develop some thicker skin, because in this position, you will be called names and belittled on social media, in text messages, and to your face. Get over it. I don't really care. I don't really care what someone calls me, or if I'm referred to by someone as part of the human body also used to define a donkey. As long as I can honestly say that the decisions I made were focused on what I truly believe was in the best interest of the citizens I represent, it is not about me. The damage has been done, and unfortunately, I feel that it's not over. I can only hope that myself and fellow council members can focus on doing what must be done to continue the work set forth by Mr. Kibby and the excellent team we still have in place. I am not perfect, nor have I been a perfect member of City Council. I don't think anyone in this position can make that claim. I do try my very best to serve the citizens of Allen Park and will continue to do so until my term is up in November. I hope we, as council, elected by the people of Allen Park, can focus on what is best for Allen Park and its citizens. Nothing more and nothing less. Thank you. I yield.
Mr. Marcos.
Fortunately, I get to go after these guys, so I don't have to make a big speech because I just have to echo everything that they're saying. It's very simple. We're losing a real leader, and we need to keep the rest of the group together. You have support, believe me. When I got on city council, I had no clue, and still don't, about the numbers. And when you see what he's done in the past 9 years, it's truly amazing. And what we're losing is just horrible. So, these guys talked about it. I'm not going to belabor the thoughts on this. We will miss Mark. We'll miss the captain of the ship. And we do wish him the best in the future. And I know everybody here on this council will miss it because it is true leadership. And we really appreciate you, Mark, and good luck. Thank you. Good night. Oh, it's National Hamburger Day.
Mr. Barr.
What more can be said than what everybody up here said? Mark, it's only been 6 months, 6.5 months for me. Thank you. I'm serious. Thank you. With that, I'm just gonna, I have to yield because I don't know what more to say. So, I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Schlack.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to start by saying condolences to Chief Egan's father that passed away on Memorial Day. And I want to thank everyone who came up and to share and spoke their comments today. I've taken a lot of notes, and I'm definitely happy that you shared those, especially in public, to inform everyone how you felt. That's important to hear. There's a lot being said, so I'm not going to go in and repeat things what people people have said, but I want to say this. I'm proud to continue to serve you. I'm proud of our city employees and see what has been accomplished and what we have done in our city. I'm proud of our city and all the students that are here that are itching to get out of here, so I'm going to keep this quick. I don't have anything prepared as I normally do when I speak long-winded, so I may in the future when you may not be here, but speak more onto that. But I'm proud of the work that my council members and I have done, and I'm proud that I know we will continue. This city is resilient, and I know we will get through any and everything that will come our way. So with that, I will yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Estheimer?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to wish Mr. Kibby the best of luck in his new endeavor. And to the team he assembled, I want you to know I am honored, amazed, and thankful each day I walk into that office and work next to you. I'm truly blessed, and I just want to thank you all very much. God bless you and good night.
Thank you. Mr. Mizzy?
Well, I'm going to be long-winded because apparently I shouldn't be able to speak as an elected official. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but was pretty much told that I shouldn't speak at meetings. Okay, it's not Mike Mizzy that speaks at meetings. I hate using I, but I do realize I represent not just the employees and I represent everybody, okay? The worst thing it's hard for me because you hear everybody coming up when I came in, things were bad. Well, guess what? I was here in the middle of it all. Okay, I was here in 1995 when the city was up here, and I watched it dip down, come up, and then just go boom. I know the formula for that. It's I, me, when you're an elected official, okay? I was here when people were told we may not get paid this week. And everybody thinks it was because of the studio project. No, that's hitting us years down the road because those were bonds we're paying off. And thank God for Mark that has recovered a ton of it, millions of dollars in our tax. What he has done for this city is incredible, okay? And why he is leaving is disgusting, okay? It is a game to a small group of people. Look what I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna play gotcha and getcha and gotcha. Do you think a man underpaid? And by the way, what did you make, Mark? What did he make? 110, 100. Do you know in 2000, the city administrator made $105,000? So how we went from 125, 24 years, or 105, 20, and Mark's barely over that. Why would you put up with any of that nonsense for a personal vendetta and a game by a group of citizens that have been up here numerous times and said, watch what I could do, watch what I could do. This is disgusting. You see how scared these people are? It's your faults. And thank you. I want to tell you right now, thank you for filing those ethic charges against me. You did file them, right? No, please do, please. Just like I wrote on your notes, put my middle initial I. Okay, excuse me, this is my time.
Point of order, just don't attack the crowd.
I'm not attacking the crowd.
We try not to.
I did that on purpose to expose people for what really went on. So let the charges come, please. Because you can ask anyone around City Hall. It's truly disgusting what a personal vendetta and a group of troublemakers caused here. Because I want on record, I don't care what kind of production I'm putting on. I don't want people to forget. Because it's how quick they forgot the studio project. You know, same thing. Let's drive out a good administrator and put in our little puppet and weasel, and we'll make them do what we tell them. And that put us in the hole for over $30 million. Never forget what happened tonight and why we're here. Or it's going to happen again and again. It's disgusting. We lost so many good employees because of me, personal vendettas. And yeah, Mike, oh my gosh, no, Mike knows exactly what he's doing because I've witnessed 10 times worse. Okay? Thank you. I'm just in shock because we had such a good thing going. Citizens, remember this day. Anyone who pays a tax bill and sees all the progress, you're going to see that change. I've never seen grant money come in and worked the way Mark Kibby did. It just didn't happen. No offense, we weren't friends. He wasn't my friend. I'm not upset because he's my friend leaving. I'm upset because y'all lose now, and so do I as a homeowner. All the roads getting fixed. Sure, things will get done, but it won't be to the bang for the buck we were getting with this guy. And that includes his salary, too. I mean, it's unbelievable. I feel, Dan, I know exactly, I wish I would have done something months ago. I sat there, and what's the saying? The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. And we did. We let one personal vendetta that everybody knows and a handful of others, now we're losing Mark and others, and they're scared. And again, yeah, I'm going to have ethics charges. I hope I do because follow them. Let them be put into the record because I wanted to show in detail every player, everything that went on, going back 20 years if I have to, because this is disgusting for me. Disgusting. I know, I'm sorry, but this is... The dark times were the worst times. And it was amazing how quick we went from 4 million in contingencies, and I'll do the history. When Dick Hubler, Tina Gavarecki, you were on council, you're sitting right there. Great job, because you guys saved up $4 million. Wasn't the studio, it was poor city management. The cost of the studio didn't hit us till now. It was just like, I mean, how do you blow that much money? Like looking back, seeing how Mark ran the city, I'm disgusted. I was part of that administration. And I had nothing to do with that. But it's, again, people, I've been elected. If I sat here and just let this happen, I'd be the bad person, okay? A lot of people are scared for their jobs, not because of this guy. No. You could ask anyone. Nobody fears me for their job, okay? We'll let you know who, just eventually, okay? And don't ever forget, not just the people, but the players in the game, because this is the same circus, just a group of different clowns. It's disgusting. It's like I watched it unfold, and it's like, oh my, and I'm talking to past officials, and they're like, you got to do something. I'm like, what do I do? So, and then when I do something, I get threatened with charges of this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? I don't care. I don't fear them. I've seen a dozen ethics board and other charges. Oh yeah, can anyone name 3 of them in this room? Tina, no. No, because we forget. We forget. I'm not gonna let Allen Park forget this one, because we had a jewel. And I mean, I couldn't even, I used to think, oh, I could be city administrator, watching some of the people we had in the past. 2 years into this guy, can I be the dog catcher? You know? That's how good he was for this city and its citizens. Again, I'm not defending my friend. He is not my friend. I mean, not like that, but it's just, it's disgusting. So, but I'm not like that. I'm not going to end on a bad note. I just want to let the citizens know, by God, I'm here for you. I haven't been this vocal in over a decade. And I hopefully never have to get this vocal again. And I don't care what happens to me. I'll always do what's right for the city. And you citizens will see that. I'm not going to tell you. I will show you. In ending, by the way, the Prism Club, very brave. Christian, who spoke, he's the salutatorian this year, okay? My son's a senior, and I've met some of the most incredible kids I've ever met in my life. And John, I see you must need a lot of extra credit. Yeah, there you are, John. That's your second, third, fourth one. It's okay. Give them a little more. But, you know, and you guys are the future. And I said it last time, I'll say it this time. Try to, when you settle down, Allen Park really is a great, great community. I was at a dinner the other night, and it was for the honors banquet, and I'd like to read this because I'm still floored to this day that someone felt. This is from Erica Lynn. She was ranked 16th in the senior class. I met Mr. Lloyd as a 15-year-old sophomore when I took his AP United States History class. It was in that class where Mr. Lloyd not only fostered and enriched my love of learning, but also taught me incredible skills when it comes to my academic career and life itself. He taught me how to be a good person, how to balance all the responsibilities life throws at you. You, yeah, better English than I do. How to love those around me, and most importantly, how to love myself. This was only the beginning of Mr. Lloyd's influence in my life. During my junior year, I got extremely burnt out and depressed. I gave up on all my goals and dreams because I didn't believe I had it in me to achieve them. Mr. Lloyd was the first to notice and quickly work to get me back on track academically and emotionally. He helped me find passion, career path, and quite frankly, my will to live. I'm going to say that again, my will to live. His selflessness, brilliance, and empathy shaped me into the person I am today. I know most of you have similar stories that serve on this council, not just teachers. 31 council people I've had the pleasure of serving with. He's one of the top ones. Most of these are in the top 10. But only one is the most selfish. But I'm not going to end there. To have the passion that Mr. Lloyd does, it's in a lot of these people. It was in Mark Kibby. If I could clone certain council people, it'd be amazing, but I'm getting a little off track. I apologize. But I've got to tell you, it's hearing stuff like that about a council person that you thought you really knew, that you'd be darn glad you have some of these people up here, okay? Darn glad. So, Mr. Kibby, on behalf of the citizens of Allen Park, I want to thank you for your service. You've been a godsend, and good luck on your endeavors. And with that, thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Thank you, Mike. I had written out some things, not a lot, but I will start with something that I have posted in several places because it was a quote I ran across, and I know I've repeated this, but I will repeat it again because anybody who's watching or listening needs to keep this in mind, no matter what level of politics you're looking at. Money and power don't change you. They reveal you. So when you are sitting and you are watching those people that you elect, pay attention. Pay attention to their words and their deeds. And be open to what is being revealed to you. Because it has always been my contention that an honest person, no matter what position they're in, remains honest. And as so many of my other fellow council people have pointed out, this is not an I position. I made it very clear when I was first elected that I was here for you regardless of whether or not you voted for me. My responsibility was to this community and to the employees, and anything I could do to relieve their burden was on me. I made it clear that being an elected official means you have a lot of responsibilities. You're responsible for how taxpayer money is spent. You're responsible for the 28,000 plus residents in our community, our business owners, and our employees. You have a duty to show that we can manage our funds so that we don't end up in the red. A duty to ensure that we take care of our facilities and infrastructure. A duty to ensure that we are in compliance with all the regulations that get thrown at us. A duty to plan for the future. We need to learn from history, and some of that was covered, but I'm going to repeat it. Because history showed us that when you say yes to everything, when you give everyone everything they want, you are not being responsible. You may, however, be responsible for putting the city in the red and sending it back toward bankruptcy. Dick Hubler bit the bullet and said no when he had to. He didn't get reelected because he stood up for the well-being of the community. Gary Burtka got elected and reversed the changes that Dick had made. He said yes to everything. He either had no idea or he didn't care that he was sending the city into financial distress. Some of the same people he said yes to experienced economic hardships and almost lost their jobs. That was a pretty high price to pay for getting what you want. Some of our department heads remember that. They remember what they went through, and they react to situations based on their experience in a mature manner, accepting the fact that they and their employees can't have everything they might want. Years ago, I heard someone who worked for the state make a statement about feeding from the government trough, which of course turned my stomach, as though taxpayer money, your money, my money, was somehow free for the taking, as though there was no obligation to treat those funds as if they were your own. Too many with a self-serving attitude, what's in it for me, mine? How much can I get from the system, regardless of the impact? How many liaisons can I make that will ensure give me special treatment so that I'm not under the same rules, ordinances, laws? Hey, I'm special. It happens. I see it in emails asking me why some individuals seem to be treated differently than others. When I took office, I made it very clear to every department head here that I was no different than any other resident. And if I ever felt that I was being treated differently, we were going to have a discussion. If I'm stopped for speeding, I should get a ticket. I'm no different than anybody else. A comment was made to me after the last election, a hope that we were no longer a community run by, quote, the good old boys. I suspect that that is true for the majority of our residents, but there seems to be a small faction who want to prove the majority are wrong. Right now, we are a community where people want to live, open a business, or work. This is reflected in our rising home sale prices, an indicator of a well-run and sought-after community. It won't take much, however, for that to change, for us to lose our hard-earned good reputation and have it tarnished. We went from junk bond rating to A+, as was mentioned before, over the past 9 years, 9 years under the guidance and stewardship of Mark Kibby, along with his predecessor, Bob Cady, and Bob's successor, Amanda Wirtz, all of whom were strong enough to stand up and do what was right for the entire city and yet be considerate of our employees. They, along with department heads who work as a team, have made us a well-respected city. However, our auditors made their presentation to mayor and council every year, and I asked how much it would take for us to go in the opposite direction. And every year their reply is and has been, not much, not much. Unfortunately, unless we can stop the flow, the direction we're going in, we are headed in the wrong direction. When I first was elected to council, there was a vast majority of people here who were willing to answer tons of questions, all hours of the day or night. For anyone to indicate that people were not approachable, I don't know who they were talking to. I've had some phantom phone calls myself. I'm still waiting for a few to come through. In the interim, I seem to be getting others. But I spent countless hours here in the old city hall after meetings, picking people's brains, getting information. City administrator job for people who truly care is 24/7. It's 24/7, and I know that from calls, emails, text messages. My biggest criticism of Mark was always, you need to close your door and not let people consume so much of your time. But he wouldn't do that. Nope, unless he was on a conference call or a Zoom call, that damn door was open and there was always somebody sitting in there taking up hours of his time. Countless hours. Many conversations he had which he thought were beneficial and would result in understanding, turned out not to be so. And perhaps it's because some people don't listen, or they only want to hear what they want to hear. But there were times when we were here pretty late, and then I left and I said, you need to go home. And then I get an email at 11 or 11:30. So it's one of those things where you don't stop working. When somebody loves a community as much as Mr. Kibby loves Allen Park, they don't come along very often. And we were extremely, extremely lucky to have him for as long as we did. And it's unfortunate that he could not help us, help me through the rest of my term, which should have been a really smooth ride considering the trajectory that we are on and the projects that are still in front of us, that we have resolved issues that lay dormant for decades. This structure being one of them. Don't ever forget, we were in a temporary city hall 40 years. 40 years is not temporary. I hope this cloud that we are currently under is temporary. If it's not, I don't know what else to say. We have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Lloyd, second by Mr. Valerius. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned at 8:08.